During his recent visit to China, Apple CEO Tim Cook emphasized Apple's cooperation with Chinese supply chain companies and expressed his recognition of China's important position and role in Apple's supply chain. In sharp contrast to previous views, Cook emphasized the strategic significance of China's supply chain to Apple, believing that this partnership is mutually beneficial and in the interests of both parties. This statement aroused public attention, and people began to rethink the advantages and disadvantages of Apple's cooperation with China. Cook's emphasis on China's supply chain means that he has recognized the importance of Apple's cooperation with China. This shift can be traced back to Huawei's Mate 60 series breakthrough in 5G technology, which seized the iPhone 15's market share. Faced with the strong rise of Huawei, Cook realized the huge potential and competitiveness of the Chinese market. Apple's donation has been interpreted by some as Cook's hope to enhance competitiveness in the Chinese market by strengthening cooperation with China. Tim Cook's visit to China and his emphasis on the importance of cooperation between Apple and China's supply chain not only reflect Cook's strategic changes, but also reflect his understanding of Huawei's advantages in 5G technology and the threat to market share. As the world's leading technology company, Apple has always been committed to its leadership position in technology and market. However, as a technology giant from China, Huawei's breakthroughs in 5G technology and market share growth in recent years have put a certain amount of pressure on Apple. Cook's visit to China has also been interpreted by some observers as Apple's hope to use the huge potential of the Chinese market to improve its competitiveness. The reason why Cook emphasized the advantages of China's supply chain is mainly because China has a complete industrial system and efficient supply chain network. China has a large team of skilled workers and professional technical personnel, able to provide high-quality, low-cost parts and assembly services. In addition, China's infrastructure construction has also developed rapidly, providing Apple with a mature and stable manufacturing environment. Not only that, China also has one of the largest consumer markets in the world, which is a huge opportunity for Apple. As one of the important regions in the global manufacturing industry, China has a strong industrial system and supply chain network. China's manufacturing production infrastructure is complete, its technology level and production capacity have reached the world's advanced level, and it can provide high-quality, low-cost parts and assembly services. Compared with other countries, China's supply chain network is more mature and stable, with a large number of experienced skilled workers and professional technical personnel. These provide Apple with the guarantee to produce high-quality products and meet market demand. In addition, China, as one of the world's largest consumer markets, has strong consumer demand, which is a huge opportunity for Apple. Cook's visit to China and his emphasis on China's supply chain also reflect the importance of Apple's strategic layout and development of the Chinese market. Although Apple has moved production lines to countries such as India to reduce production costs, the actual results are not ideal. Countries such as India are different from China in terms of infrastructure, production environment, and labor quality, resulting in low production efficiency, unstable product quality, and frequent problems. This not only increases production costs, but also affects product quality and delivery time. Compared with the Chinese supply chain, the instability and quality risks of the Indian supply chain have caused a series of problems for Apple. Although Apple moved its production lines to countries such as India to reduce production costs, the actual results were not as expected. Countries such as India are quite different from China in terms of infrastructure construction, production environment, and labor quality. India's infrastructure construction is relatively lagging behind, the production environment is not mature enough, and the quality of the labor force is relatively low. This leads to low production efficiency, unstable product quality, and frequent problems. At the same time, due to the instability and quality risks of the domestic supply chain, the Indian supply chain has failed to meet Apple's requirements for product quality and delivery time. Therefore, Apple has to re-examine its partnership with the Chinese supply chain and re-evaluate its strategic position in the global supply chain. During his visit to China, Cook made it clear that the cooperative relationship between Apple and the Chinese supply chain is mutually beneficial and in the interests of both parties. As one of the world's largest manufacturing centers and consumer markets, China is of strategic importance to Apple. The stability, efficiency and high-quality services of China's supply chain can provide Apple with a sustained competitive advantage. Therefore, Apple will continue to strengthen cooperation with the Chinese supply chain, continuously improve product quality, reduce production costs, and meet growing market demand. At the same time, through in-depth cooperation with Chinese supply chain companies, Apple can better adapt to the changes and needs of the Chinese market and occupy a favorable position in the global smartphone market competition. During his visit to China, Cook made it clear that the partnership between Apple and Chinese supply chain companies is a mutually beneficial and win-win cooperation model and is in the interests of both parties. This partnership can not only provide Apple with stable and efficient supply chain services, but also provide employment opportunities and economic development momentum for China. As one of the world's largest manufacturing centers and consumer markets, China plays an important role in Apple's global supply chain. Through close cooperation with Chinese supply chain companies, Apple can obtain high-quality, low-cost parts and assembly services, improve product quality, and reduce production costs. At the same time, through in-depth cooperation with Chinese supply chain companies, Apple can better understand and adapt to the changes and needs of the Chinese market, grasp market opportunities, and achieve a win-win situation. Cook's emphasis on Apple's cooperation with China's supply chain shows that he has realized that China's important position and role in Apple's supply chain is irreplaceable. As an important region in the global manufacturing industry, China has a complete industrial system and an efficient supply chain network, which can provide high-quality, low-cost parts and assembly services. Cook's visit to China reflects Apple's emphasis on the Chinese market and its strategic layout. By cooperating with Chinese supply chain companies, Apple can continuously improve product quality, reduce production costs, and meet growing market demand. At the same time, the huge potential of the Chinese market also brings unlimited opportunities to Apple. To sum up, the cooperation between Apple and the Chinese supply chain is mutually beneficial and in line with the interests of both parties. It has also made an important contribution to the development of the global smartphone market.